All right, there seems to be turmoil in Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen. A day after firing head coach Doc Rivers, it's being reported that the Beard could be on the move again, likely to decline his $35.5 million player option to test the free agency waters this year. And it seems like there is mutual interest between him and his former love, the Houston Rockets, reuniting the pair. And it makes a lot of sense. It's a really, really interesting situation. What's going on in Philadelphia after reports came out that Harden was the driving force behind getting Doc fired? It now seems like he could be on the move, heading back to Houston. Look, we all know the Harden experiment kind of flamed out this season for my Sixers. It was a tough year. It looked like things were going great. Up 3-2 on Boston, going back to Philadelphia. 2 games Harden single-handedly won himself 2 40-plus point masterpieces in Game 1 and Game 4. Really kind of brought you back to the old Harden, the 9-year guy in Houston who won the MVP, who went to multiple conference finals. It was that kind of James Harden renaissance, but 2 duds in Game 6 and in Game 7, throwing away the series to the Boston Celtics once again for the Sixers. It seems like Harden wants out. I honestly think the Sixers should move on from Harden. He's way past his prime, and he is demanding a fat contract, and Houston can pay him this contract. Houston's got $60 million in free agency cap, which is more than enough money to sign Harden. Harden's looking at a $200 million deal, and he can get a $210 million deal to stay in Philadelphia, but everywhere else it's about $201 million. But that probably evens out if you go back to Texas compared to Philadelphia. Haven't quite looked at it, but the Texas taxes are probably a lot less than Philly. No state income tax in Texas, but besides that, he loves Houston. He still has homes. He still owns businesses there. His mom still lives in Houston. The man's got his jersey retired in multiple strip clubs in Houston. He's a Houston guy through and through. And it's an interesting team. The Rockets pretty bad again, but they're a very young team. Just hired Ime Udoka as the head coach. I don't know how those two personalities are going to mix and match. Udoka's known as a hard-nosed, tough guy. James Harden, lazy is the word that people like to describe, not focused. We've seen him wear himself out, not keeping himself in shape. A lot of young guys in Houston. I don't know if that's the best influence, but Harden wants to be the man again. He's still got a good bit left in the tank. He led the NBA in assists per game this season at over 10 a game, which is pretty impressive for a guy who's known to be an ISO high usage guy, not really distribute the ball. Obviously, his scoring and rebounding numbers aren't quite what they used to be in his prime, but still a highly efficient player. Shot 38% over that from 3 this season. So there's still a good bit left in the tank, but is Harden done ring chasing? Is he just not that guy? And it seems like it could be that way. And this put the Sixers in a really awkward situation. You're coming off of a season that feels like a massive letdown, losing again in the second round to a Boston team that you should have put away at home. Joel Embiid got his MVP, but you need to start pairing guys with him. You need a true all-star with him to really make things going. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey is an up-and-coming guy, but he's not quite there yet. Has all the potential to be one of those guys. But you really want another option. You have a $39 million cap weight with Tobias Harris entering in his final year of his deal. So they can maybe ship that off, clear some cap space, get some mid-level exclusions if Harden does sign with the Rockets, and bring in somebody, maybe put some pieces around them. I don't know. Maybe Harden does stay. Harden does love Sixers GM Daryl Morey. Was with him in Houston. They're a super tight relationship. And they need a new head coach, and the name that they're talking about, Mike D'Antoni. I don't know if it's a great idea to reunite the mid-late 2000s Rockets in 2023 in Philadelphia. I just think that would be a disastrous move. You can't play that kind of offense with Joel Embiid. It's a slow-style offense. You really need a true scorer to take over games late. It's almost like they need a guy like Jimmy Butler that could finish games. Imagine if he was on this team. Oh, wait. Thanks, Philly. But regardless, I think Harden is out. I think Harden is going to Houston. He's not about that life anymore. This was the final kind of chance for him to make that push. And it looked like he was in the midst of rewriting his legacy. If they win that series against Boston, they can get past Miami. They can get to the finals. Maybe the narrative changes a little bit because Harden had some stellar performances on the road in big spots for the Sixers this postseason. But when it all came down to it, him and Doc, the trend stayed. blowing series leads, blowing game sevens, just awful, awful performances all around as a whole. And I was worried about this. He's only played started 79 games for the Sixers. That's the exact same amount he started in that failed experiment in Brooklyn. And when he did not get this extension signed last season, saying, oh, I missed the deadline, it was a faxing error, I was not about that move. And I was like, oh, he's leaving after this season. And he absolutely looks like to be trending that way. This was all a setup. Harden's a money guy. He ain't about that winning culture, which is good. Get him out of there. I just want my damn basketball team to get to a finals. Get out of the second round, please. They haven't been out of the second round since 2001 when AI took that team to the finals against the Lakers, ultimately falling to them. But you gotta move on from Harden. I think you gotta try and get somebody else without giving up Maxey. Bring in anybody you can to pair with Embiid, a true alpha scorer to go in with Maxey. When Maxey isn't feeling it, just take over playoff games when we know Embiid's going to shit the bed in a big spot, because that tends to be his trend. He's a great regular season player. He runs out of gas, gets hurt, makes bad decisions in the playoffs, and I don't think Harden helps that at all. So Sixers in a lot of trouble possibly, or maybe this is a clean, fresh start to reset this organization, because they clearly want to win a championship in Philadelphia. Their owner is very, very committed to that. They've been spending the money. They may need to spend a little bit more, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Is Harden going back to Philly, or is he going back to Houston? Where is he going to be playing next season? What are the implications of that? Does he even fit in with that young Rockets core? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share this video with your friends, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.